Hello and a warm welcome to this Meridian podcast series that considers the top 10 signs that your SAP system cannot manage EU VAT complexity. I'm Adam Smith, the Meridian Group Commercial Director, and in the last podcast we discussed how in the world of VAT determination, SAP relies on certain key characteristics such as sequences and conditions. We had some great comments and feedback on that last podcast, so thanks for everyone who got involved. Today we'll take the discussion a little further and explore what happens when staff manually change these key VAT determination fields directly within a sales order. Now, often this is done in all innocence to overcome this known limitation within SAP and to try and force the correct VAT results. However, and no doubt some of you would have experienced this and have the warnings to show it, it does come with certain inherent VAT risks. To discuss this today, we have, as ever, Nazar Zaidi, our Senior VAT Consultant here at Meridian, and this week he's talking with Gilbert Mwansa, the Director of Tax Technology at Ryan in the UK. Naz, over to you.
Thank you for that, Adam. As you mentioned, SAP relies on certain key VAT determination characteristics in order to trigger output tax codes via so-called access sequences and MWST condition records, which of course we discussed in the last podcast. The key VAT determination characteristics are tax departure country, tax destination country, customer tax classification, and material tax classification, as well as the customer VAT ID for certain cross-border transactions. A lot of people might not be aware that SAP allows the possibility to override the system determined VAT characteristics directly within the sales order. For example, it is possible for end users to populate an alternative tax classification or a tax departure country, tax destination country. So perhaps a question to you, Gilbert. Do you see evidence within your client base of users manually changing these determination fields? And if so, what is the main reason you see for such changes being made?
Thank you, Nazar, for this opportunity to discuss this important topic on the EU VAT determination in SAP. To answer your question, yes. We've worked with and are still working with a number of clients who leverage the manual override to the SAP standard VAT determination via updates to the data in the key fields that you've mentioned. The main reason for allowing these manual changes is that although SAP standard provides automated VAT determination solution through condition technique, most companies have found that this functionality is mainly suited for less complex scenarios, such as domestic standard rated goods and services. However, the solution falls far short when it comes to complex intra-EU scenarios such as triangulation, chain transactions, drop shipment, consignments, etc.
Yeah, thank you for that, Gilbert. I think you're completely correct about the complex scenarios, and that's where obviously many businesses typically struggle with the basic SAP functionality for VAT determination. Where clients are manually changing these VAT determination characteristics, what challenges do you see this creating for such businesses when sort of liaising with tax authorities and trying to demonstrate that their system can determine VAT in an automated and compliant manner?
Yeah, that's a great question. Since the evidence on the ground is that clients end up supplementing the automated solution with manual interventions to get the right VAT treatment, I think it becomes very clear, very difficult to demonstrate a proper audit trail of the VAT determination logic as set up in the conditions versus the actual results on the sales order and invoice. In other words, it's really hard for a client to trace the VAT results that they have on the VAT report to the VAT condition records that have been used to return those results due to the fact that there's been a manual intervention in the process. So I think that's one of the key challenges that we see with the whole process of manual intervention. I guess I can also ask you a question regarding this challenge, Nazar. Is it possible to run a control report that will show exactly what manual changes were made to tax fields in an SAP sales order?
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. This is perfectly possible and quite easy to run with it in the SAP. In fact, we've provided a step-by-step guide to running such checks, and that can be found in the accompanying document to this podcast series. The document is Top 10 Signs that your SAP system can't handle EU complexity. But in the main, if you want to run such a report, it's possible to execute an extract from the VBAK table via SE16 within the system. So for a specific sales org and time frame, you can identify exactly when end users have been populating the above manual VAT determination fields, and that therefore displays exactly where users have been making manual changes. And that's perhaps a good exercise for an in-house tax department to carry out, to try and quantify exactly when users are making changes, and that might highlight, for example, system inefficiencies or areas where perhaps an improvement can be made. I guess then the next question I'd have on my side, Gilbert, would be, in light of some of the risks that you talk about, particularly when it comes to demonstrating how a system is determining VAT, do you now see an increasing awareness among your client base for the need for a more automated approach to VAT determination?
Oh, absolutely. In addition to the above risks that we've talked about, the recent legislative changes related to real-time reporting or near real-time reporting here in Europe have prompted an increased appetite by our clients to probe into not only the automation, but also the underlying data and the processes that feed their downstream VAT reporting. So yeah, most certainly, we're seeing a lot of our clients looking for more automated and transparent VAT determination solutions that ensure compliance with VAT regulations.
So finally, just wanted to explain a little bit about how the Meridian VAT add-on can help clients mitigate such risks when it comes to manual changes. So within the Meridian VAT add-on, our goal is to allow clients to successfully automate their VAT determination and therefore remove the requirement for manual changes. One of the drawbacks about manual changes, apart from the fact that it takes away from the automation and consistency of the system VAT determination, is that you can quite quickly become reliant on non-VAT experts influencing the VAT determination. So the Meridian VAT add-on will typically ignore completely any manual changes. So even if users try and go into these fields and maybe make a change to the customer tax classification or the tax departure country, the Meridian VAT add-on would just completely ignore these. Instead, the way our system works is that we have a lot of functionality sitting behind the scenes effectively through which we can dynamically and automatically update the key VAT determination fields. And again, we touched on this a little bit in the first podcast, but what we're looking to do is use the Meridian VAT add-on to handle more complex VAT requirements, things like triangulation or chain transactions, extended reverse charges. Through the Meridian tables, we're able to update certain key VAT determination fields, and thereby remove the requirement for users to manually update. So rather than having end users try and get the right VAT treatment, it's very much system driven.
Thank you, Nazar, and thank you, Gilbert, for your insight and explaining the challenges that businesses face to get their VAT determination correct, and also talking us through how the Meridian VAT add-on can solve this issue. Thanks also to all of you listening, and we'll talk to you again in the next podcast edition of the top 10 signs that your SAP system cannot manage EU VAT complexity.